Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the official opening of the Lublin International Medical Congress. The conference is funded by Minister of Science under the program Doskonała Nauka 2. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to this special occasion. We're honored to have such a distinguished group of guests with us today. In particular, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the authorities of our university, Vice Rector for Education and Didactics, Professor Kamil Torres. Vice Rector for Science, Professor Jarogniew Łuszczki. Dean's Authorities. A representative of Voivode's Office, Mrs. Elżbieta Rejmak-Paterek, Deputy Director of Health at the Lublin Voivodeship Office. Representative of the University Administrative Leadership. Our esteemed partners, the Director of the 5th Branch of PKO SA Bank in Lublin, Mr. Krzysztof Dudkowski. The Director of Interpolska Insurance Company, Lublin Branch, Mrs. Katarzyna Dziwura. The Director of Wirtualna Klinika, Mr. Dariusz Wierzba. Representatives of DOS Dbam o Zdrowie. And representative of Lublin Medical Chambers, Dr. Dariusz Szymborski. I'm truly delighted to welcome each and every one of you to our Lublin International Medical Congress 2025.
We are extremely pleased to welcome you to this exceptional event. This year's edition of the LIMC has gathered over 350 participants, over 20 countries, and features more than 200 scientific presentations. This is proof that our conference is becoming an increasingly important platform for exchanging knowledge and experience in the medical community. Over the next few days, we will witness inspiring lectures, innovative research, and valuable discussions. None of this would be possible without the support of our patrons and sponsors, to whom extend our sincere gratitude.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to proceed with also honoring the honorary patronages and the institutions that support our conference. And the first honorary patronage would be the Rector of the Medical University of Lublin, Professor Wojciech Załuska. Lublin Voivode, Mr. Krzysztof Komorski.
Marshal of the Lublin Voivodeship, Jaroslaw Stworowski.
Mayor of the City of Lublin, Mr. Krzysztof Żuk.
Additionally, our event is supported by
Lublin Medical Chamber, Naczelna Izba Lekarska.
Lublin Students' Council,
Student Government of the Medical University of Lublin,
the Polish Academy Lublin Division,
Academy of Young Scholars,
the IFMSA of Poland,
and we would like to also thank the institutions that provided the conference with the scientific patronages.
Society of Polish Internists,
Society of Polish Surgeons,
Polish Society of Epidemiologists and Infectious Disease Physicians,
Polish Society of Hypertension,
Club 30 of Polish Cardiac Society,
the Polish Neurosurgical Society.
Our media partners include
Medycyna Praktyczna,
Blasek,
Akademickie Radio Centrum,
Polski Radio Lublin,
medforum.pl i edukacjamedyczna.pl.
and we would like to thank our partners
Forgive me for my Polish, but I would start with Bank PKO SA, Piąty Oddział Lublin, Królewska, pierwszy przepraszam, i Towarzystwo Ubezpieczeniowe Interpolska SA, Korpus Mind, Więcej niż lek, Twój dyżur, Wirtualna klinika, Medycyna praktyczna, Manikin, Kangumet, Ambaras, Red Bull, Kompendium Medicine, Remki, Centrum Edukacji Medycznej, Spower, na medycynę, Zecia pierwsza, and thank you for your continued support and commitment to the conference. We would like to kindly invite Professor Kamil Torres, Vice Rector of Education and Teaching, and the host of this esteemed venue, to take the floor.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of our magnificent rector, Professor Wojciech Załuska, I would like, first of all, to welcome you to this great, marvelous scientific event. This event, and I would like additionally and cordially from the bottom of my heart to welcome you to the beautiful city of Lublin, with more than 750 years of great European tradition, and to our Medical University of Lublin, which is celebrating its 75th anniversary. We believe that today's, tomorrow's, and the day after tomorrow's Congress is a great event to meet young scientists. The power of future science of Europe, Poland, and globally science, and to develop great friendships, not just scientific friendships, but also human friendships, good relations. We at the Medical University of Lublin really create something that is a community. It's a community, an academic community. It's a city community, it's a country community, but it's a global community. Starting from April 7th, I'm very proud that our Polish Accreditation Committee, which is in charge of the quality of education in this country, will be supervised and will have the process of accreditation by the World Federation for Medical Education, which will bring this country to the great family of the World Health Organizations, which is a guarantee for quality. We can organize this because we work as a team. We have the best students. I would like to say thank you that we have great organizations here, the Student Scientific Committee, the International Federation for Medical Association, and many, many, many more. And we've been doing this for 75 years. Today, Medical University of Lublin, it's 9,000 students. It's 2,000 participants in postgraduate training. And it's 4 clinical hospitals with great environment. We can do the things because we also have a great support. Great support from our local government, from our voivodeship, from Mr. Krzysztof Komorski, but we also have a great support from our central institutions. Thanks to the European Union, thanks to this national restructurization plan, we just obtained a great grant, which is around 50 million euro. And within the next 1.5 years, we are going to expand our possibilities, and I would like to welcome you to the next Congress, which is going to be better and better and better. I wish you a fruitful discussions. I wish you a great time. I know that you have many scientific sessions. I know that this integration within 16 faculties that are present here is becoming again true here in the heart of Poland, in Lublin. And I do believe that we will be meeting thanks to people with goodwill every year, and this Congress will be growing. I would like to say and express my gratitude also to this excellent science initiative by the Ministry of Higher Education of Science. I would like to say thank you to the supervisor of the Student Scientific Association, the dean of our Faculty of Medicine, Professor Hanna Cicho-Szlach. I see this great work because I've been always somewhere near. I've been looking how this Congress is growing. Today it's probably one of the best congresses, scientific congresses in this country. I see every year there's something new, something that inspires. As just to crystallize this idea, I invite you to this inspiration zone, which is on the ground floor of this simulation center. I wish you all the best. I wish you fruitful discussions. I wish you great time, and I wish you good luck with your presentations. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Torres, for sharing your words with us, for graciously hosting this event at this remarkable venue.
At this time, we are pleased to have Professor Helena Latch, Dean of Medical Department and Supervisor of the Student Scientific Association at the Medical University of Lublin, to deliver the opening address.
Dear honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. As a supervisor of Student Scientific Society of Medical University of Lublin, I have a great pleasure, a great honor to welcome all of you at 10th Jubilee, 10th Lublin Medical International Congress, which is dedicated to young doctors and to medical students. I think that I would like to thank you, all our distinguished guests. Thank you very much for acceptance of our invitation. I hope that this Congress will be an opportunity to present the results of your scientific studies, to obtain new medical knowledge, to expand your medical knowledge as it used to be in the past. I think that this Congress will be an opportunity to make new friends. I wish you fruitful Congress discussion and unforgettable impression from our beautiful Lublin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Latch.
Now it's my pleasure to invite to the stage to the man who opened the speech and is the chairman of the organizing committee of this edition of LIMTS, which is Lublin International Medical Congress. Please with me invite Mr. David Staniak.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, speakers, and students, it is with great joy and honor I welcome you to another edition of Lublin International Medical Congress, an event that has firmly established itself as one of the most important medical conferences in Poland and Europe. This is a unique opportunity to share knowledge, experience, and passion for medicine and related science. Lublin, a city with a rich academic tradition, provides an excellent space for interdisciplinary discussion that contribute to the advancements of science and improvement of healthcare quality. Our Congress is not just a series of inspiring lectures and presentations, but also a place for networking, exchanging experience, and fostering new ideas and initiatives. This year's edition focus on the latest achievements in medicine, innovative treatment methods, and the challenge faced by modern healthcare. We gather here to seek answers to pressing medical questions, develop interdisciplinary collaboration, and inspire on one another to further our work for the benefits of patients. A special thank you guys to the wonderful team of young individuals who gave work tirelessly to organize this Congress, often late into the night, dedicating their time and energy to make this event exceptional. Your determination and passion are truly admirable. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to Vice Rector Professor Kamil Torres and Deans Professor Halina Lach for their invaluable support and dedication to the development of this event. Thanks to your assistance and openness to young scientists, we are able to gather here today and collectively shape the future of the medicine. I wish you all fruitful discussion, inspiring presentation, and unforgettable moments at the Lublin International Medical Congress. I hereby officially open our Congress. Thank you, and I wish you all a success deliberation.
Thank you, David. Before we move on to the inspiring lecture, we warmly encourage you to take advantage of what we've prepared for you. This year, we have a new addition, a special inspiration zone created in collaboration with our partners. It is a great opportunity to discover new ideas, tools, and inspirations. Additionally, you have the chance to attend lectures prepared by our invited guests. This is a unique opportunity to gain knowledge and valuable experiences you won't want to miss. This inspiration zone is located on the ground floor. We invite you to check it out.
Now, let's move on to presenting our inaugural lecture. The inaugural lecture will be led by Ms. Joanna Wadomirska, a speaker from the organization Doctors Without Borders, who will share her experiences from 15 years of collaboration with the organization in the most remote corners of the world. She will also discuss how to become part of their team. Currently, Ms. Joanna serves as the medical coordinator in Hungary and Ukraine.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me. And we speak about inspiration, so I hope I will try to inspire of how can you use the knowledge beyond of what it's done when we speak about innovation. So again, my name is Joanna. I have been born in Poland, but I grew up in Belgium, and I have been working with MSF, Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders for over 17 years, with some gaps in between. But I really would like to share with you, through my experience, actually, what the organization is doing and how this medical care or innovation can be used beyond our borders. So I don't know if all of you are aware about the organization. It's a medical, humanitarian, and international organization that has been created over 50 years ago. And if we look to how the organization is looking now, so we are present over 70 countries. This is a little bit changing, depending of which projects are opening, where the needs are. Because what do? We provide medical assistance to the victims of conflicts, to the victims of epidemics, to the victims of natural disaster, but as well to people who are excluded from the medical assistance. What's very important for us, it's our principle. And what really drives us, first and all, because we are a medical organization, it's the medical ethics. And these medical ethics are linked to two other very important principles, which are impartiality and neutrality. What does it mean? We do not care who the patient is. We are just based on his needs. We don't care to which political affiliation or which ethnic group the patient belongs. If the needs are there, we treat the patient. I remember when I joined the organization, it was one of the campaigns while asking public for funds, it was, we treat Black and Muslim. If you don't agree with that, please don't give us money. So here comes to the other very important principle, and it's independence. And this is something that is quite unusual in terms of humanitarian assistance. And because we are financially independent of any country, of any institution, it's really the organization that's deciding where it operates, who does it serve. And this we can see, for example, currently, if you are aware about what's happening geopolitically in terms of funding by US aid, which it's now stopping in majority of the, let's say, international humanitarian assistance, we are not affected by this because we rely on private funds. So people, there are over 7 million people that decide to support our activities, and this is why not only we can decide what do we do, but as well where do we operate and who do we serve. So we are completely independent. We are not getting money from any of the government because we know that even our governments in Europe or in United States are very often involved directly in the conflicts of which we serve the population. The other very important principle, which was actually the base of how Doctors Without Borders were created, it's témoignage. Témoignage is to be witness and to bring the story forward. Actually, when MSF was created in 1971, it was based on the intervention of the International Red Cross in Nigeria, where it was active war and famine. The world didn't know about it, because as well the International Red Cross has a very different status, has a diplomatic status. So they cannot really speak out directly what's happening. And so for the doctors who were working there in Nigeria, they say, no, this is impossible, just treat few people. The world needs to know about what's happening in this country. So they get together with some journalists and they decided to open this completely independent organization, which is today this big organization that's having almost 70,000 people that work with us and which operate in 70 countries. But this point of témoignage, that we do not only treat people, but we speak out when we see injustice and when we see that the situation needs to change. And of course, accountability. So we are fully transparent in our actions. And then, of course, how we use our funds. And this I can, for example, say that when it was the big tsunami in Indonesia and India in 2005, and we start receiving a lot of money, really a lot of money. And one moment we had to say, stop, stop, stop. We are not able to use this money. So please, or you stop giving us this money, or you agree that we will use it for some other project. So we are fully transparent in these matters. And we as well clearly say how much of money that is donated really goes to the people we serve. Because we know that usually big organizations are getting trapped into the bureaucracy and getting a lot of funds dedicated to administrative aspects. So we are very transparent, showing exactly how much of those money goes to the people. And this is probably why our donors are so generous. Now, more specifically, let's speak about how those principles are linked directly to the medical actions that we do. So first and for all, we treat people. We do not treat diseases. And what would be maybe interested for you, and this I can develop a little bit further, we carry research. We really try to boost innovation and to put this knowledge into the action to always improve the way we treat people. And then we as well advocate for standards of care and medicines for all. And this as well I will develop a little bit further. So first, in terms of patient-centered care. And here we can have as well some debate, especially, for example, we speak about globalization, epidemics. For us, the first objective will not be to stop the epidemics, but the first objective will be to treat people affected. It will have as a consequence to stop epidemics, but we will not sacrifice people instead of stopping the epidemics. We had as well, it was many years ago, but this always patient-centered approach was many years ago kind of confronted with WHO when we were speaking about tuberculosis and self-administrative treatment. WHO was clearly against that. They said, no, the tuberculosis treatment has to be system-centered, direct observed treatment, and we were saying, no, the people, they deserve their autonomy. As long as they are conscious about their treatment, they are able to take this treatment themselves. So it took quite a while, then WHO got convinced, and now their recommendations as well are different. But first of all, always patient-centered and based on principle of medical ethics, human rights, and justice. And always focusing on the best possible standards. It doesn't matter that someone is in South Sudan. This person deserves exactly the same quality of medicines and diagnosis as any other person in any other part of the world. Here now let's speak a little bit about research. So we really always tried to drive innovation and to improve the care we are providing. For many years we do operational research. We have now as well a full department that focuses on operational research. Operational research is to see which are the best diagnoses. So which are the best approaches to care. And this is based on our lessons learned. And very often when you are in a completely new situation, you don't know what to do. So you try different approaches and you learn why you are doing. And this become quite important part of our work. You can find so many publications, so many of our results of the research then translated into guidelines. And what was quite new for us is actually that recently we even get involved into clinical trials. It's something that we never did before. It's something that as an organization we have been discussing for many years, because it's not to the humanitarian organizations to be involved in clinical trials. But there may be some disease that no one is interested to do clinical trials. And we want new medicines. And we have the patients that need those medicines. So 10 years ago, it was a little bit later. 8 years ago, we started clinical trials to look for new solutions for drug-resistant tuberculosis. Before, drug-resistant tuberculosis has been treated for 24 months with extremely toxic treatment, including at least 6 months of injectable, with efficiency around 50%. Horrible treatment. I saw patients treated in that way. For me, each of them that finished the treatment were real human heroes. But as a medical person, it's so difficult to see this suffering and to see this, to be helpless, to not have other tools. And this is why we get involved in those clinical trials. And it became a revolution in drug-resistant tuberculosis. So it's this study called TB Practical that introduced a 6-month full oral, much less toxic treatment for drug-resistant tuberculosis, and it's today the recommendation number 1 by the WHO. And now, when we have this research and we have those products, are they available for the people who need them? So that was another point. How can we make sure that all of those innovations and research are really getting into the population that need them? So we can see for many diseases that we have a gap between where the medicines or diagnostics are and where the people that need them are. So I will later speak about our Nobel Peace Prize, but with the money that we got from the Nobel Peace Prize in 1999, we opened a completely new department which is called Access Campaign. Why we did that? Because that was the moment we were having patients in many of our African projects that they were dying of HIV/AIDS. We had no medicines for them. The medicines already existed. At that moment, they were already there, the medicines, but the treatment for one person was costing $10,000 per year. This is something that we couldn't afford having hundreds of thousands of patients. So we created this access campaign that looked to the aspects, okay, what make really the medicines accessible? Just to tell you that after 2 years, this $10,000 per patient per treatment start costing $100 per patient per treatment. And this is how we were able to treat hundreds of thousands of people. So we first document how the situation is, where the medicines are, how much do they cost, what it's used as diagnostic tools. Then we start campaigning with different as well companies that maintain, let's say, the monopoly of those products. On the picture you can see it's now current campaign which we call Time for 5, and it's about molecular diagnosis for tuberculosis, which is still extremely expensive and not affordable for many countries. So when we speak about innovation and the tools, first we need to make sure that they exist, so that there is research and development for these specific products that are needed, that they are adapted to the needs. So for example, if we speak about COVID vaccines that needed to be refrigerated under I don't remember how many degrees, this is something that it's not adaptable for an African country that do not have the whole infrastructure to keep those vaccines with such a low temperature. And then of course that they are affordable. And as well, we always advocate for adapted medical policies. So I was speaking about, let's say, those principles based on medical care, but let's come back to this aspect of témoignage and bearing witness, which is really at the core of our creation. And I would like to share with you the speech of James Orbinski from accepting the Nobel Peace Prize, who will actually visualize this aspect. Oops.
Humanitarian action is to help people in situations of crisis. Our daily work is a struggle, and it is intensely medical and it is intensely personal. It aims to build spaces of normalcy in the midst of what is profoundly abnormal. Our action and our voice is an act of indignation. A refusal to accept an active or passive assault on the other. Let me say this very clearly. The humanitarian act is the most apolitical of all acts. But if its actions and its morality are taken seriously, it has the most profound of political implications. We act not in a vacuum, and we speak not simply into the wind, but with a clear intent to assist, to provoke change, or to reveal injustice. The act of humanitarianism comes down to one thing: individual human beings reaching out to those others who find themselves in the most difficult circumstances. They reach out one bandage at a time, one suture at a time, one vaccination at a time. Humanitarian responsibility has no frontiers.
So this is really something that drives us. It's not only the medical act, but it's the principle of justice, and we cannot only treat people if they are in such an unjust situation. And this is why as well we will focus on those who the most need this attention and care. So what do we do now more in practice? As I said in the beginning, we mainly focus on conflicts and violence. I don't know if you are aware, for example, widgets today the biggest humanitarian crisis? Would you know? What's for you today in the world the biggest humanitarian crisis? Gaza is the most mediatized place, but it's actually South Sudan. We don't hear about South Sudan. It's a horrible, not South Sudan, the Sudan. It's a horrible war happening. It's a civil war with millions of displaced people, with all the medical as well infrastructure developed. Gaza as well, of course, it's a horrible humanitarian crisis, but in terms of scale and millions of people, it's Sudan. So we focus on refugees and displaced population because when you have an unusual situation because of a conflict or because of natural disasters, the people are fleeing their homes. So of course, natural disasters, the biggest one was the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. And one of the biggest as well, it was the tsunami in 2005. That was really, we never saw such a scale of destruction as it was in Indonesia in 2005. But then, of course, outbreaks and epidemics. I don't know how much you were aware about Ebola epidemic in Western Africa, 2014. Ebola actually existed already for many, many years. So as organization, we had experience in Ebola since the 90s, but it was more focused on Eastern Africa. But the world was completely taken out of surprise when the epidemic started in 2014, and especially because some of affected people reached Europe and US, and that was the moment the world wake up. And we were actually the only organization having the knowledge about the treatment, about infection controls. We set up the whole training center in Brussels where we were treating all different responders and even the governments of European countries to see how they should react in Ebola epidemics. Malnutrition, another huge problem around the world. And then, of course, we do a lot of vaccination campaigns, and we focus on neglected diseases. So those that no one cares because they affect the population that is far away from where we are. And then, of course, maternal and pediatric health. So just showing you as an example in numbers. Myself, I have to say, I was a little bit impressed when I saw like compilation of all those numbers, knowing that there are over 16 million consultations per year. But what struck me the most, look, the number of babies. We deliver more babies than are born in Poland, the whole country. So look how many people were treated for malaria, how children were vaccinated, how many people are treated for tuberculosis, for HIV, how many operations do we do, how many patients do we see in emergency department. So when you put all of those numbers together from all different countries, it's impressive. So now maybe more specifically based on like my personal experience, I don't like to speak about myself, but let's speak about what can I share with you from my own experience. So what was the situation in the countries where I have been? So I started working with MSF in 1999. And first mission, it's always the one that stayed the most in your heart. But I actually worked up to 2013, and then I had my break, of course, children, family, other priorities. I did many other things, but I came back to the organization because of the war in Ukraine, because I speak the language and I wanted to know what can I do to help. And what was supposed to last 2 months, it's already over 3 years. So let's speak about those places that I know myself. So Burundi. Burundi, it's a small country that will stay forever in my heart. 1999, nutritional project. So first camps for people affected by conflict in Bujumbura, horrible conditions. I never saw actually such a desperate situation. So people being denied any assistance, close together, without any shelters, without water, just being affected by whatever disease they had. That's a project where we had to evacuate because of security. But then I came back to Burundi twice and I work in nutrition. And it's something nutrition will stay as well forever in my heart, because then you see how with such a small intervention, so providing very specific therapeutic foods at specific time, in specific dosage, you give back life to children. And in 3 weeks, you can have from a child who can even not move, a child who starts running, playing with a ball. So for me, nutrition, it's something that the nutritional projects are really the ones that bring joy, where you can see directly the effect of your assistance. Angola, I went as well twice to Angola. At that moment, Angola was under war. So we had as well bunkers, because it was very active war. And in Angola, I worked in a hospital. It was a big hospital, which actually we had a big surgical department where we were treating victims of landmines. And I have to say, it's some of the worst surgeries I ever saw for the victims of landmines. And we had as well nutritional project. After Angola, Ivory Coast, and again my beloved nutrition. So when we speak about war in general, because at that moment Ivory Coast was under war, then we speak usually about surgery, but no, war has an effect on the whole system. So you will have to look to things like nutrition or continuation of treatment. The baby still needs to be born as well in war. So you have always to look more generally to the conflict context. Indonesia, tuberculosis program. And it was as well a specific island, Ambon, that has been affected by conflict between Christians and Muslim. So there we have been running a tuberculosis project. Chad in 2004. There is the war again in Sudan, where the people from Darfur need to flee towards Chad in horrible conditions, really in the middle of the desert. And there we had to set up the clinics, again nutritional projects, and we had to supply water as well to the camps, because there were not other organizations present. Darfur. So after attending people in Chad, we moved to where the conflict was. And it's actually, Serifumra, it's a project that we open, and where we were adding the components. So we start with a small clinic that we had to then develop towards the whole inpatient department, maternity, and nutrition. And this is as well one of the projects that really stay in my heart. South Sudan. So that was as well a very difficult project, where the people were in constant, let's say, conflict, but that conflict was more relating between tribal, how can I say it? Yes, fighting between different tribals. And those people, again, they have really nothing. So if they have nothing, they really need everything. And it's as well a project that started very small, but then grow and grow and grow. Then, completely different context, Peru. In Peru, we were working in Lurigancho prison. At that moment, it was the biggest prison in Latin America, and we were having a clinic for STI and HIV. It's a project that actually has a big impact to me as a person, because it's a completely different world that I never imagined. Because as a European, I have a very different perception of a prison than what it actually means to be in a prison in Latin America, where you are not receiving always food, that you are homeless, you have no place to sleep. and you don't have access to medical care. And we had as well another project in a slums area as well, focusing on HIV and STIs. India, another amazing place. And that was actually my last mission before I stepped down from MSF. And again, context that we do not imagine. Are we aware about conflicts happening in India? Well, it was as well, if you see the dates, more than 10 years ago. So we have been running mobile clinics in Chhattisgarh, which is a central area of India, where people as well, they have zero access to medical care or education or anything. Those are tribal populations that are excluded, and there is an active conflict between Maoist militias and the government forces. So here, medical care, we're a mobile clinic, we go by car, where we can reach by car, sometimes by bicycle or by foot. So we have fixed days where we see people and we try to provide all the components of primary healthcare and then referring people to other structure if they need more specialized care. So it's amazing when you see with such a simplicity actually how much you can do. You can vaccinate people, you can treat them for malaria, you can diagnose them for malaria, you can provide perinatal consultation, so you can really do a lot just under the trees. Mumbai project, drug resistance and HIV co-infection. And that's the project that really focuses on, as well, research. So in addition to the patients that we were treating, and we had this cohort, very specific cohort of HIV and drug resistance co-infection. So we were seeing which are the challenges. And this little project was actually the pioneer to see what's the best way to treat those patients. And we had actually here the so-called XDR patients, so the one that actually no one knew how to treat them. And the other one was Nagaland, as well, one of the most fascinating places that I ever saw, that I even didn't know they existed. It's on the border between India and Myanmar, and as well a place affected by conflict. And here we started with the hospital, but when we saw that half of our patients in inpatient department had tuberculosis, then we had to develop as well tuberculosis project in addition to that. But we had as well a big maternity there. Then comes Ukraine, and that was the reason why I came back to the organization. I felt so appeal of what has been happening in Ukraine, so I came back and work as well in Ukraine. And here as well, innovation. One of our projects, the train, we never did that before. We didn't know how to do that. But we knew that we had so many patients that were in Eastern Ukraine, and there needed to be referred for specialized care to western side of Ukraine and even to move to other countries. So then as well, a hub was created in Poland, and then the patients were going from Poland to Germany or to Norway or other European countries. But this train was created based on medical experience and logistics experience that we have, trying to find solution. Then actually, I have to say that the military of Ukraine came to visit our train, and they were asking us for advice for their own hospital train. So we actually had intensive care unit. We had 6 beds as well of intensive care unit in this train. We had as well a project of drug resistance, tuberculosis in Ukraine, and the whole network of ambulances in Dnipro region. We have 25 ambulances trying to get people from surrounding, let's say, villages close to front line towards Dnipro, where they can be treated properly. So here it's again the train, and you can see it, the train and the ambulances that we have. And so now let's speak about Poland, because currently I'm the medical coordinator of our activities in Poland. And after everything what I told you about WMSF, it's working, it's quite surprising as well that we have a project in Poland. Why would we work in Europe? And here comes the component of assistance to people who are excluded from medical assistance. So we focus in Europe, and we actually work in Belgium, in Italy, Greece, and France, and we mainly focus on migrant population. So here we have 2 projects now in Poland. And this one, it's on the Polish and Belarusian border, and we have as well a tuberculosis project. So I will first start with the Polish and Belarusian border. Are you aware what's happening on the Polish-Belarusian border? More or less. More or less. We are having a humanitarian crisis since 2021. So there are people who try through the forest, get from Ukrainian side towards European Union. So it's not only Poland, but as well the other bordering country like Latvia and Lithuania. So it's a very difficult context to operate. And what do? We provide medical assistance in the forest to the people that request this assistance. Those people are affected by violence. Half of our patients actually suffer from physical trauma. And this physical trauma is based on the way they try to cross the border, because we have now 5 meters wall with razor wire. So it's not Bible wire, it's razor wire. So medically, we are seeing extremely deep cuts. Those are really horrible cuts. But then as people, they break their legs when they try to jump. But then 50% of them are as well affected by direct physical assault. So you can really see the very strong bruises, the dog bites. So those are the things that we see, and those are the people that we treat. Then our second project, tuberculosis. Do we have tuberculosis in Poland? Yes, we do. But tuberculosis become a neglected disease, and not only in Poland, but in the whole European Union. So actually I have to say that for me, your region, voivodeship, for me it's one of the most active in terms of tuberculosis. You are able to identify a lot of cases in tuberculosis compared to other voivodeships. But so it's a project that started at the moment of the war in Ukraine, when we knew that some of the refugees need a continuation of their treatment while they were reaching Poland, because of course there's much more tuberculosis in Ukraine than it's in Poland. And then we discovered that actually Poland and European countries, they didn't have proper diagnostics and they didn't have proper treatment. So the whole as well campaign started to get the fast molecular diagnosis be available, so the people, they don't have to wait 2 months to know if they are having drug-resistant tuberculosis or not, and 2, that they have proper medicines to be treated. So in addition to the project that we have, where we link actually Ukrainian patients to the system, and when we provide them the assistance, which is psychological, counseling, education, but as well covering the administrative and social needs, we have very strong component that looks to how make the medicines available in Poland. And again, not only in Poland, but in the whole European Union. So if I look to that experience, it has been for me a life-changing experience. It's such an intense personal, let's say it takes such an important space of my personal experience. It defined me at the end. How do I perceive the world? How do I perceive human beings? And I have to say that when I had to go back to the hospital in Belgium, it was for me very difficult. And then with time, of course, I learned how to deal with this kind of 2 parallel worlds. So this extreme needs that you see in the other place, and then the reality that we have back home. So yes, it is, as organizations, an opportunity for the professional growth. So myself, starting really treating people, then coordinating hospital, nutritional center, then coordinating different projects, being involved in the access campaign. So constantly learning. And this is it. I mean, we have over almost 70,000 people working with us in all different kind of projects. And it gives you as well opportunity to meet different specialists, because very often as volunteers, my specialists joined our mission. I have to say, as well, my experience in India, when I knew that Michael Goldman was coming to India, and actually he stayed in our guest house with us, and nobody understood me because I was so excited. So, oh my God, Michael Goldman, he will be staying, eating at the same table. And I said, but who is this person? Who is this person? I said, that's the guru of malnutrition for children. Because of him, the Formula F100 was created. Because of him, millions of kids were saved from the malnutrition. So I was able to have my coffee and sleep in the same guest house with him. So yes, I think this is it. Thank you very much for your attention, and I would love to respond to your questions and share further the details of my experience. Thank you very much.
One word if you want to describe what motivated you through those years.
What motivated? Okay. So I have a question here, and yes, I'm willing to answer with the microphone. So, what motivated me? Because it has been 17 years, and it's true. Yes, and it's true. Some people think that, but yes, those people are crazy. I mean, they have to sleep in the tent. Sometimes they have to hide in the bunker from the bombs. I mean, how come? And then, of course, we work as crazy without any, let's say, we don't know what 40 hours a week means. I mean, so many people, but you are extremely crazy. What motivated me? I have to say, when I was in Belgium, one of the books I read when I was 15 years old, it was City of Joy of Dominique Lapierre, and it spoke about India. And it spoke about the story of a doctor in Mumbai. And I don't know what happened at that moment, but I read it. And I was like, oh my God, this is really something I want to do. And because for me, medical studies was always based on service, I really deeply felt in terms of me as a purpose in life, it's to serve other human beings and to find humanity, to bring humanity where the situation is the most difficult. So I don't see it actually as something as well that I'm giving, but I really feel that what I'm receiving back is much valuable. So if I look to my personal growth as a human being, I know that it has a huge effect on me. So I'm actually the winner of all that, because I hope I'm a better person through that experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna, for this inspiring lecture and for sharing your invaluable experiences with us. We are deeply grateful for this dedication and all the work you do.
We wish you all a successful conference and encourage you to actively participate in the scientific sessions and accompanying events.
We officially open the 11th Lublin International Medical Conference.
That was